Comic Boom.
Hey guys, Comic Boom here to review Freedom Fighters number 6. Now guess what? I only reviewed Freedom Fighters number 1 and I was somewhat underwhelmed by it. I'm a fan of Robert Venditti, but I didn't think he never really captured my interest with the first issue. But I've been reading issues 2 to 6 and it's slowly been getting more intriguing. I'm happy to report that Freedom Fighters number 6, finally, this should have been the opening issue. The first 5 issues were frankly a complete waste of time as far as I'm concerned. This is exactly where it needed to start because finally we get Overman. Overman is coming into play. And when I reviewed issue number 1 of Freedom Fighters, one of the things that I complained about was that there was no obvious linkage to Grant Morrison's Multiversity, where he basically dealt with Earth X. This confirms that this does take place in the same universe as Grant Morrison's Multiversity, which was never clear from the get-go. And in fact, quite frankly, it doesn't quite line up continuity-wise, if to be brutally honest. But whether it's forced or otherwise, I really don't care. This is so much better because with Overman being now in continuity of this Freedom Fighters story, Overman was raised by Adolf Hitler. Instead of being raised in Kansas, he was raised by the Fuhrer himself. And this has images that are reminiscent of All-Star Superman, because right off the gate, it starts off showing that the classic, doomed planet, desperate scientist, last hope, genocidal tyrant. Instead of it's a genocidal tyrant that raises him instead of Jonathan and Martha Kent. And of course that's in pre-World War II Germany, and of course Overman helps defeat the Allies, and of course the Germans defeat the Allies to take over the planet. And we jump to the present day in 2006 or 2018, 2019, where the Freedom Fighters are coming back. The spirit of America is growing, and therefore the Uncle Sam as the American spirit increases in strength, so does the strength of Uncle Sam, who is the personification and a manifestation of the American spirit. But what's really great about this issue is Overman. You think that Overman has returned, but there's some misdirection going on, and we get what is in fact the equivalent of the Cyborg Overman. Instead of the Cyborg Superman, we get the Cyborg Overman, I guess you could call him. But it's revealed here that at the end of the events of Multiversity, where Overman leaves basically Earth X, he leaves the Earth X after the Freedom Fighters are successful at destroying the JL Axis satellite. And he also discovers that the Holocaust took place under his nose, and so he leaves in despair. And Overman was already beginning to question his loyalty to the Third Reich at the end of the pages of Multiversity in that one shot. And this picks up and reveals that he actually left the planet. So Overman is not actually on the planet. And they covered up him leaving the planet. What the Nazis did is they covered up Overman's disappearance, and instead they used his DNA and they created the Cyborg Overman. And it's the Cyborg Overman that's attacking the Freedom Fighters here. So now the big question is, where did Overman go? Is Overman going to be back? We know that Overman is likely going to be back. This is really getting exciting. I can't believe this thing just came out of the blue. Again, the first 5 issues were sort of like, it was okay. This is really starting to pick up. This should have been the opening issue. You could pretty much pick this up, guys. Go out and pick up Freedom Fighters number 6. You don't need to know the backstory. You really don't need to know much about what came before it. There's an evil version of the Plastic Man that's pretty cool. So you can pick them up. They're called the Plastic Men. But you don't need to. You can just pick up issue 6. It's really a great read. It's a lot of fun. Definitely pick it up. I can't wait to see if Overman comes back. Because now we have the Cyborg Overman, and I'm sure the Overman's going to be returning to to Earth X. I call it Earth X. I don't know. It might be a different Earth now. I can't remember what it was called in the Multiversity. It used to be called Earth X. Now, what it is in Multiversity, I'll have to check it out. Maybe I'll show it on the screen when I discover it. But in any event, it doesn't quite jive in terms of continuity, in terms of the continuity of the Grant Morrison story into this one. But I like the fact that Robert Venditti has sort of forced it in. He's forced it into play a little bit. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And guys, check out Freedom Fighters number 6. I think you'll enjoy it. I think this is actually a comic book that this is something where this is sort of like the hidden gem. This is a lot of exciting things might finally be beginning to happen in this comic book. So check it out. So guys, check out Freedom Fighters number 6. Follow me on Twitter at Metropolis40. Hit the subscribe button. Until next time, Comic Boom out.